All right, welcome to this quick presentation and overview on lacrosse. We are going to be in a lacrosse unit very soon, and I wanted you to have some good overview information about lacrosse so that when I am referring to certain things during class, you'll be familiar with it. Okay, so take a look here at lacrosse. All right, so here's the overview. So, what is lacrosse? It's a team sport where players attack one side of the field to try to get a rubber ball into a net or goal. Players use a long stick with a net on the end of it called a lacrosse stick. They can run, cradle, catch, shoot, and pass the ball with the net of the stick. The lacrosse team with the most points or goals at the end of the time period wins the game. It's a very athletic and active game that requires a tremendous amount of hand-eye coordination and a lot of other skills too. It provides good exercise and competitiveness. There's a lot of running in lacrosse, and speed and endurance are great assets to the lacrosse player. The sport's nickname is the fastest game on 2 feet. Lacrosse has become popular primarily on the East Coast with high schools, colleges, and has had some success as a professional sport. So the lacrosse history. Take a look at these images. All right, and from those images alone, you can tell that this sport was very Native American oriented. It's considered to be North America's oldest sport. Canadian natives are credited as the originators of the sport, dated back to 110 AD. It had a strong connection to the Haudenosaunee tribe, which was used to settle disputes between the tribes. So they used this sport to settle disputes, and the aggressive nature helped prepare them for war. In 1876, Dr. William George Beers became fascinated after watching the sport and created a rule book and evolved the game to the style of play used in Canada. Lacrosse eventually moved south to the East Coast and often surpasses the popularity of basketball or baseball. It is a really big sport on the East Coast for sure. So some of the key terms you're going to hear me saying throughout the unit, are the following. I'm going to refer a lot to the stick, which is just basically the stick that's in your hand. And the stick has the head, which is the top part where the netting is, and then the shaft, which is the long, the metal part where you're going to have both your hands. Cradling is the technique you're going to use when you actually have the ball in your stick and you're going to be running around. Okay, scooping is when the ball is on the ground and you need to scoop it into the webbing or the head of your stick. Passing, is the technique to get it from player to player as you're advancing down the field. Facing off, for those of you that are hockey fans, it's the same concept, but you're going to drop the ball between two players, and once it hits the ground, those two are going to battle to get the ball into their lacrosse stick. Offense is the team that is attacking, trying to score. Defense is the team that is trying to prevent the offense from scoring. I'm going to refer to man-to-man defense, which is where you're going to match up with somebody and you're going to play against them throughout the game. You're basically going to shadow them for the game. Zone defense, I might have you set up in a zone where you have to go to a particular area and defend that area. All right, obviously a goal is when the ball goes into the net legally and a point is scored. So in real lacrosse, this is the equipment that you'll see. A lacrosse player will have a stick. Obviously there's lacrosse ball, helmet, there's eye goggles. It's a very physical game. Mouth guards, there's rib pads, shoulder pads, lacrosse gloves, there's cleats, and then of course you'll see the goal nets. Okay, this game, very physical. It has some components of, American tackle football, ice hockey, soccer, very physical, a lot of body-to-body contact. What we're going to use in PE, we're going to use sticks. We have some rubber lacrosse balls, And then I'm going to be using whatever type of nets that we have available to us to set out on the field. Okay, so let's look at the stick real quick. Okay, so at the top you see the scooper top. You have the V pocket, the sidewall, the throat, and the shaft. I'm not really going to be referring to these technical aspects of the stick. I just wanted you to see what they look like. I'm basically going to refer to the head or the shaft, and the head is just that big, the part that consists of all of the shooting and strings and V pocket sidewall, really the webbing. And then the shaft is the part where you guys are going to be holding on. I'm going to teach you different ways to hold the stick. Here's a lacrosse field. It's a pretty big field. It's 110 yards, which is 10 yards longer than football. And then it is 60 yards wide. Obviously, we're not going to set up the fields like this, but this just gives you an idea what they look like. You can see what a real lacrosse field looks like over there on the right-hand side. In real lacrosse, and I'm not going to play this way in PE because we're going to be playing on much smaller fields and we're probably going to have less than 10 players on a team. But just so you're familiar with it, there are 3 attackers, 3 defenders, 3 midfielders, and 1 goalie. All right, so each team has 10 players on the field at a time. All right, so here's what they look like. You can see the field. Here's the field, and then I inserted the players in as well. So the AAA are the attackers, the DDD are the defenders, G is the goalie, and then you can see the midfielders, and then you can see the attackers and defenders. This just gives you a good idea. Remember, the field is 110 yards by 60. All right, so pretty cool here. Let's take a look at this real quick.
9 in red, the best player in the state of Delaware. Brent Evans.
You can just see what it looks like. Okay, they scored a goal, a little bit tough to see, but I want you to see, just notice the equipment. You know, they're wearing helmets, they're wearing pads. Look at how agile and quick they are. I'm just going to show you a couple more seconds of this game.
Level here, the team celebration.
All right, we'll go over here, and you can just see that's cradling right there. They just passed. They did a shot on goal. Okay. Now we come over here. We'll just check out this game. This is a highlight game. Team USA. Some slow motion. You can see how they're holding the stick right there. All right. There's a slow motion. A nice pass. A nice shot. All right. So it'd be good. This presentation is going to be on Google Classroom, so you can definitely take some time to look at those. All right, so what are we going to be doing in class? All right, I want you to have a general understanding of the key aspects of real lacrosse, the field dimensions, equipment they use, names. You're going to understand how different hand positions can affect the speed, distance, and accuracy of a throw. You're going to practice throwing to targets that are close, far, moving, and stationary. You're going to understand 2 different types of hand position for scooping. You're going to practice 2 different versions of cradling. You're going to hold up a target and learn how to pull back when catching. You're going to play basic man-to-man defense. You're going to move around and stay active during games to attempt to get myself open for a catch or a score. And you're going to be a responsible and respectful team player in drills, activities, and in tournament play. So the skills. All right. This is predominantly what I'm going to be building your unit around. We're going to be doing some throwing drills, catching drills, scooping drills, cradling drills, and some shooting drills. All right. And my goal is to give you a lot of drill practice in those particular skills. And then once I feel like we're ready, then we'll be moving those skills into some tournament play. All right. So these, I'm not really going to go into too much detail here. Okay. But there is a really good video on how to throw. I highly recommend you watch that. Okay. This is a really good video. It's only about 3.5 minutes long. There's catching. There's some really good pointers on how to catch called absorbing or soft hands when you pull the stick back right before the ball comes into your stick. Okay, so I would highly recommend watching these videos on catching. You're definitely going to want to watch this video on scooping. And I may pull you in and we'll go into the boys' locker room and I'll show you these videos before we start doing some skill work. But I want you to look through these videos as well. Okay, and then cradling. Cradling is a tough skill, probably the toughest of all of them. So a good video to watch. And then of course shooting. Okay. All right. So class skill drills, drill purpose. Remember I just said the purpose of the drills are to go over these and help you get a lot more competent at these particular skills. And then I'm going to start off, very basic in a very static environment. All right. And then I'm going to move the environment to more dynamic, where you're going to have to do these skills with a lot more moving parts so that you can get better at it. Okay. I hope that you're looking forward to lacrosse as much as I am. I hope this presentation helped you. And let's do it.